Alright, so in this video we're introducing parallel lines and talking about how they relate to similar figures. So, if a line is parallel to one side of the triangle and it intersects the other two sides of that same triangle, then it divides the two sides proportionally. So here in the diagram, we start off with triangle QSR. We have a parallel line, TU, that's parallel to one side of the triangle, QS. Well, since these two sides are parallel, and TU is cutting the other two sides of the triangle proportionally. So what that means is RT over TQ is going to be proportional to RU over RS. So what we're going to do in example 30 is to use this rule that we just introduced to help us solve something. So in the diagram, we're told that segment AB is parallel to segment ED. So these two lines mean parallel. Again, like we talked about in previous videos, these little arrowheads also mean parallel. So these two sides are parallel. And what the rule says is that this side and this side are proportional to this side and this side. So we're just kind of mimicking what we see in this rule. So the rule says since the two sides are parallel, then DC over CB is going to be equal to CE over CA. And the way I remember that is the little piece over the total piece is equal to the little piece over the total piece. And now what I'm going to do is plug in what I know. I'm trying to find the length of EC, so I'm going to highlight that in red. So this is the piece I need, EC, or CE, however you want to call it. And I'm going to call that X, just temporarily. Now I'm going to plug in what I know. So I have DC was 4 over the total length, which is 4 plus 8. And that's supposed to be equal to X over the total length, which is going to be X plus 12. All right, now, typically before when we had a variable on the bottom, we flipped both fractions. However, that's not going to really help here because if I flip, I'm still going to have a variable on the bottom. So what I'm going to do in this problem is just go ahead and start cross multiplying. However, before you do that, you need to remember, if you have more than one thing on bottom, it automatically gets parentheses. 4 plus 8, I'm not going to put parentheses around that because I know 4 plus 8 is 12. So I'm going to, before I do anything, I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. So 4 over 12 equals X over X plus 12. You have to have these parentheses here though with this variable, otherwise it's going to come out wrong. Now I'm ready to cross multiply. So I have 4 times the quantity X plus 12 equals 12X. Alright, you could either solve this by hand or you could graph it. I'm going to solve it by hand. All we have over here is distributive property. So I have 4x plus 48 is equal to 12x. I want to get my x's all on the same side, so I'm going to start by subtracting 4x from each side. So I have 48 is equal to 8x. And now I'm going to divide by 8 on each side. 48 divided by 8 means that x equals 6. So I'm going to go back because I made a rule x equals CE, which was exactly what I was trying to find. So CE equals 8. I'll plug in my picture. Okay, and that's it. No big deal. You just have to remember the rule. Short side compared to total side is equal to short side compared to total side. All right, example 31. We're told that the two sides, MN, is parallel to GH. So since I know these two sides are parallel, I'm going to go ahead and draw my arrowhead. We want to determine if that's true, okay? So that's what we're trying to figure out. Is this true? Well, if it's true, then we know the short side compared to the total side is equal to the short side compared to the total side. So if these two are parallel, then we have proportional sides. So what that means, again, short side, LN, compared to the total side, LH, is equal to the short side, LM, over the total side, LG. If this is true, then MN is parallel to GH. That's just a rule that was given. Let's go ahead and plug in and see if this is true. So, plugging in, I have LN is 48. LH is 48 plus 16. It's supposed to be equal to LM, which is 56, divided by LG, which is 56 plus 21. Now what I want to do is clean this up. First off, I'm going to start with 48 plus 16. Also going to clean up 56 plus 21. Just going to use calculator to do that. Not really worried about the tops right now. So 48 plus 16 is 64. 56 plus 21 is 77. So I have 48 over 64 is equal to 56 over 71. I just want to double check my calculator. Or 77, excuse me, this should be 77. Now what I want to do is turn each of these fractions into decimals. If the two decimals are equal, then I know for a fact that these two sides are parallel. Okay, because that's what the rule tells us. Proportional sides means you have a side that's parallel. So 48 over 64. I get this decimal, 0.75. Now 56 divided by 77, I get 0.727, which is close, but not exactly the same. For this rule to work, they have to be exactly the same. So since this is true, that means it's not parallel. And that's what we show. Those two sides are not parallel because these two are not equal to each other. Alright, and that's it for this video. As always, if you got a question, let me know.